A little lounge here. Is everybody, are we live?
We're live?
It's a really nasty day. Like nasty.
It's gross outside.
It is gross.
It's like sleeting and...
But Halloween is supposed to be up to 60.
It is supposed to be nice.
That will be really awesome. Like, it'll be a break for the poor kiddos and their costumes.
So do you like set out a table with like candy on it? Like individually so that people can grab it? Or what's... I don't know if I know
The etiquette this year?
Yeah, the etiquette this year. I don't know
either. You know, people are doing all kinds of things like shoots, you know, down from a window. And we do have a window. We could try that, I guess. And then some people are doing the long grabber things where you grab it.
You know the balloon launchers? Maybe they used to be across the street and I'm like, hold your basket up.
Good luck finding it in our yard.
Oh yeah. Well, there won't be snow by Saturday, right?
They'll have to work for it. They like go search your yard for it. But yeah, so I don't know exactly what we're gonna do with that, but
We're trying to figure out if we're gonna go or not. My kids are, Kira's 12, junior
Yeah.
high, so I don't know.
our kids don't go anymore. But Corbin likes to go to his buddies' houses and they hang out and scare kids and stuff. And we have family coming in, so.
Ooh, I'm gonna turn the volume down. I'm sharing it, so I was just making sure we were on.
Okay, so it's working.
It's working this week.
Yay.
For the first time in a few weeks, right?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I have gum in my mouth.
And just in time for us to talk politics. I have gum too, but I'm not throwing it away.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
I'll try not to chomp it too much, though.
All right.
We're talking politics today.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna post this, and then I'm gonna listen to the awkward silence right now, where you guys just stare at me. Oh, hi. So, welcome to Table Talk. My name's Mike,
I'm Allison.
and our goal with this every week is that we have conversations. Now, I'm a pastor. If you're watching this, you know I'm a pastor, but sometimes other people share this. And so I'm a pastor of a church, and Allison and I work together. She used to be our worship leader. And during COVID, we started having conversations instead of sermons. And we thought that we should continue that. And so we kind of, break down what we've talked about that week, but also try to talk about other things tied to the same topic.
Sort of.
Sort of, yeah.
Sometimes.
We deviate often.
Sometimes.
It's okay though. But that's why, so this week we talked about politics. And I made the argument that we can make a difference as an individual. And our vote's important, our passions are important, all those things are important, but in our faith tradition, Jesus didn't use government to implement these new ideas of love each other, love one another, love neighbor as yourself. These are all ideas that we can make a difference in how we treat people, and that politics is so divisive, so polarizing, so dividing, it doesn't bring us together, that we need, and sort of there's a story in the Bible where they're mad about paying taxes, they don't want to pay taxes, and they go to Jesus, should we pay taxes? And he says, give me some of your money. So they give him the money, he looks at it, and he's like, well, whose picture's on this? And of course it was Caesar. And he's like, well then give Caesar's what is Caesar's. And
He's kind of saying, I don't want anything to do with all that. That's not why I'm here.
well, power structures, power and money always corrupt, right? And so in the Christian life, so we don't say it's bad to have money, but the constant pursuit and chasing of it and the collection of too much of it always corrupts. So Jesus is like, give it away. You can make it, but give it away, right? Don't hoard it. And so when you get into power structures like government, power and money always corrupt. And so I'm not saying all politicians are corrupt.
You're not?
I was going to say just 99%. So,
yeah.
no, I think that the point is we don't put our faith in that. It's important. We need to be aware of it. How we spend our tax dollars is crucially important because that is our money that we're paying into a system. But that is not our Savior. Our Savior leads us to a different place. Our Savior leads us to take care of neighbor and to love each other. And so the argument then sometimes is this is one of the ways we accomplish that. And I don't disagree that our money should be spent, but we're never going to agree on how that money is spent. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's how do we spend our tax dollars?
Yeah, and what I liked too about what you said Sunday was that we can share our beliefs and share our opinions and whatever, but not at the expense of the relationship
Right.
that you're in. And then it made me think though that maybe there are some times, and that I wanted you to like address this, because maybe there are some times though where whatever the relationship is, that person is either saying hateful things or like discriminatory things or whatever, and they don't, and there's no learning, there's no process for change, there's no. And so at what point do you say, agree to disagree, we can't continue here because you're telling racist jokes all the time, or
Right.
whatever it is,
Whatever thing it is,
like,
yeah.
does it ever ruin the relationship? You know?
I think, so I would say it should not ruin the relationship, but it can change the nature of the relationship. So I grew up in a culture community that kind of just swept the politics, you didn't talk about sex or politics or all those things under the rug, and we didn't learn how to have healthy dialogue. And so what I'm trying to do when I teach, and the sermon's just kind of teaching, is I'm trying to teach people we should have, because my argument yesterday was we should talk more about this, but you have to do it in a healthy manner. So, but I can't change you. I can only change me. So that means if I'm talking to somebody and they're having a visceral reaction and I see that visceral reaction, I should probably disengage. So there's two sides of this. The ideology is that we can all learn to have healthy conversations and agree to disagree. And but you also mentioned something else. So you mentioned the person who's not open, who's going to tell racist jokes. And so I always tell people I was that person. I don't want to stereotype, but I was raised in a religious right household. And there was very racist things that I was taught in the church that I grew up in, openly racist things. And so I would have been one that would have said those things.
And misogynistic, right?
Yes,
like
yeah.
that's very common in
Yeah. And
churches
so
sometimes.
I had good people come into my life that would help in a healthy manner try to have a conversation with me when I said things like that. So they didn't just discount me, and that's what I want people to do is learn. So the visceral reaction. So if I believe a certain way, and we all think our way's right? So I'm not going to say which, like it's not wrong, it's not good or bad, right or wrong. But if I'm trying to show, the biblical term is to shed light on something, to illuminate, so if I'm trying to share with somebody those words you're saying are hurtful to other people, then my opinion is we need to address that in a healthy way. So what we have right now in our culture, both sides, is we have a lot of anger and hatred and the demonification of people. And so I think when we do that, and I agree with a side right now, right? So I would say there on every issue, I agree with a side, right? But if we can talk about that without attacking, because when you attack back, it's just, So what I would say is if you have a person who doesn't ever change, I would say we never give up on a person to change. But I think we should keep having the conversation, though, just in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Right?
I wonder, does anyone, you don't have to share who your experience was with, but any experiences like that where you weren't sure how to like proceed in that relationship without there just being fighting all the time. And that's the hard part, is like when it comes to politics, I feel like we have this, not just politics, but any of our strong beliefs, we have this like burden that we must convince. I need to share it with you, and if you don't agree with me, then I didn't do a good enough job of explaining myself.
Then you mansplain it?
Yeah, right. And then I have to go into more persuasion and no, maybe they just disagree. Why is that so hard for us? Like, we can't just say, okay, you're not going to see it this way. That's okay.
So that gets into the who we are. So when we say I'm a progressive or a liberal conservative, whatever term and side, and I hate binary thinking, so know that. I don't think there should only be two options. That's a whole other topic. Like our system's broken, all that stuff. I don't like binary, but we find ourselves in a binary situation, so we're going to talk in binary terms for a minute. When we're in that binary situation, we can't, that's strong language, I don't think we should look at the other person and just say you're wrong, right? Like we have to engage into the dialogue and not, I don't know, I lost my train of thought when I got into all of that. But in the binary way of thinking, we can't just say you're wrong and I'm right and just leave it there. Like there has to be a better way to approach this, to invite people into a different space. And I had another thought, but I completely lost it. So
it's the why do we tend to feel like we have to convince and change someone else's mind? Why can't we be okay with our opinion and then be okay with you having yours? It's like we have this pull to like say it.
So sorry, I was going
say it before you forget.
Well, we identify as those things, and then we define ourselves as those things, right? Because especially in binary terms, when there's either or, so that even though I grew up in, I'm not going to say that. I have friends who might self-identify as Baptist, right? I said, "Oh, you're Baptist." Well, I go to a Baptist church, but I don't believe in this, and this, right? So same things with Republican, Democrat, because there's only two options, right? Well,
yeah.
I know there's other options, but right now it feels like there's only two options. And so I identify as Republican, except I don't want that, and that. But then we lump ourselves in, or other people lump us into this thing, and then we define ourselves. Instead of a Republican letting be a descriptor of part of who we are, or part of that we agree with. Like there are part of the Republican platform that I like. There is part of the Democratic platform I like. There's a big part of the Libertarian platform that I like, right? Like there's all these things. And to think in good and bad and wrong and right, I think when we can't self-identify as those things. So I think this is where faith comes in. And my tradition is Christianity, but I don't care what your faith is. Define yourself as a human being, as a person of faith. And by person of faith, I mean that you believe that you're a part of something that's bigger than you. And that thing is not defined as Republican or Democrat.
So I think what you're saying though is like the reason I feel so obligated to change your mind is if I'm like finding my identity in that label and then you reject those ideas, you reject me.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
Or even just part of them. Like everything just becomes a whole lump.
Because I've grabbed onto this thing in that unhealthy way. Like this is not, this does not
and then
make me
we let it change it. Like then we become that instead of we're something other than that.
Yeah.
And I think we lose ourselves literally in those kinds of things and those kind of course then we get the whole conversation about labels. Like labels are never healthy. I don't think they are. Like flying your flag and like we're technically a Methodist church, but if you come to our building, you'll never see the word Methodist anywhere. I hope my boss isn't watching. But and I'm not anti-Methodist. I'm just saying I don't think it helps anything.
Right.
Like I don't.
It's a division of sorts. Any label you put on a church is a division.
Yeah.
Amy, is anybody saying anything?
Yes. Chuck was saying when you were talking about having conversations, he said he tries to do it in small bites, push a little and then back off. Get to the point that you can talk openly about your indifferences without backlash.
Right.
I feel that way with my teenagers. Like not about politics, but about anything that I want to like put my 2 cents in about. If I like try to go full bore and like lecture about something,
they reject it.
Yeah. But if you just make a little nudge here, a little nudge there, they eventually start thinking it was their idea somehow. It's like mind control.
So
it's like
now we're into manipulation and.
Like when they're sleeping, you're whispering, I told you to do your homework. You want to do your homework. And the back masking on records. We're old enough to know about that. How do you say that?
Back masking.
Back masking on records where you're subliminally.
Well, country music was big into this, and if you play country music backwards, you get your dog back and your wife back and your life back, right? That's the worst dad joke ever. Okay, so
Amy, back to Amy.
We were going to be singing Sammy Kershaw today.
What?
Who's that?
Chuck wondered if you were going to be singing Sammy Kershaw.
What is a Sammy Kershaw? I know Sammy Kershaw. What does he sing?
What's the song?
I don't know. He didn't say.
Come on, Chuck. What you got?
Chuck. There's a delay on Facebook.
Yeah,
so
I know. It's like a 30-second delay. So.
Yeah.
Ashley says she loves discussing differences with others. I learn and grow in those moments. I prefer to have a nice, calm, lighthearted discussion, and once it gets loud and unkind, I bow out gracefully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's hard though, isn't it?
Oh, it's so hard because you look like a sore loser or something, and you're like your pride's a little like. Ugh. But I've done that too, where you just say, you know what? I can tell this isn't gonna go. Like this isn't going anywhere in a good way. Like let's just shelve the conversation. Let's just move on from here. Yeah.
Chuck said politics, religion, and her.
table talk.
Oh, we can just exit out and put table sing.
Any others, Amy?
Sean said that he just blocks the conversations when he knows that they're going to be completely opposite from him usually.
Like just change the subject?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are times when I think when if you want to maintain a relationship with somebody, you are wise to just avoid certain subjects because you've already gone down that road
Right.
and you've come to a brick wall. And it's kind of like, you know what, if we're going to stay friends and I want to stay friends, we're just going to avoid certain things.
Choose people over politics.
Yeah, like I can choose to be your
Yeah.
friend and I can choose to avoid certain topics around you. Like that, I think that's okay. I have several people
And you
in
can
my
still
life
be,
like that.
people are like, well, then we can't be, that's not true. You can, again, we have to stop identifying as the thing, instead that we're more than that. And so, I have friends, good friends that are close to me on both sides of the aisle, right? Again, I don't like the binary terms, but I do have friends that are super passionate and probably on the fringes of both sides of the current aisle we find ourselves on.
Well, and
So-
I think this election is like worse than any other because everyone's on edge with COVID
and
with
money.
the racial
race,
things that have
yep.
happened recently, and it's like this is just a
Culmination of several things.
yeah, it's like the perfect storm this
Yeah.
election, and I don't know. I don't feel like in the past elections I have felt this agitated or anxious, like watching the news or listening to people on Facebook or whatever. Like I'm just like I don't feel like it's ever been this bad.
I feel like it's heightened for sure.
At least not in what I remember. From
Yeah.
what I remember. But how many elections have we voted in now?
Oh no. My first election was 98 an election? No, 2000
It
was.
went
So
2012, 2002, 2012, 2008, 2000.
2004, and then 2000. So 2000 was the first one I voted in.
Yeah.
Was that Bush too? Or was that Clinton?
Oh gosh, I can't remember, guys. History.
It's-
Anyone out there know who ran
The-
for president in 2000?
I think it was Gore and Bush, and that was the Chad thing, right?
Right.
The
Yeah.
hanging chads.
Yeah. That
I
went
do
to the
remember
Supreme
that.
Court.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that.
My first voting, I was in kindergarten, and they had us do a mock vote, and I remember I think it was Carter and Reagan, right? Is that right?
Probably.
And I remember going into the booth. It stuck with me. It's probably why politics is in my blood too. Like I've always been super intrigued and interested in it. And I remember going in and I punched it like it was a punch thing, and
They had you do a
a mock
pretend,
one, yeah, because we were talking about politics and all
I
this
kind
stuff.
of
And
vaguely
so,
remember that with some election
Yeah.
in grade school. But yeah, you think you're excited to vote. Like Ava's voting in her first presidential election this year. It's an exciting thing. But then I get jaded and just cynical with the whole thing because you always hear like, your vote doesn't count. And if you happen to vote Libertarian, everybody on both sides says they say your vote doesn't count. Like the Republicans say that's just a vote for the Democrats, and the Democrats say the same thing. That's just a vote for the Republicans.
I really want to do a whole segment on that because we need.
But I think doesn't it influence? I think it.
I don't want to get too much into that, but I agree. We just need more options. We need more. Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
Any more things, Amy?
Well, we were just discussing the different presidential elections over the years and how many we voted in.
I saw a Ross Perot comment somewhere.
Oh yeah, Ross
Sean
Perot.
was asking when the election took place. That was his first one.
Was 2000 or was it 96?
I think
96 was
Ross Perot-
Dole. I think Perot ran in that because I talked about it this week. I went and met Bob Dole in Independence at a rally in 96. So I think Perot was in the debates in 92. I think he ran in 96 but didn't get very many votes. He actually got a percentage of votes in 92 though, not 96.
When did Gary Johnson come on the scene? Because that's who was running last election. In this election, it's Jill Jorgensen.
Joe.
Joe. Jill's Joe.
Jill.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Jay.
And Cohen.
Something
Is
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I don't. There's always been other parties that have been on the ballot and stuff.
They just don't
but,
have the money to. You don't hear.
well,
about
they're not
them
invited
because
to
they
the
don't-
dialogue either.
Yeah, and they don't. They can't keep up. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe this year I'll change everything because people are just have had it. Because it's like I don't.
That'd be hilarious.
I don't-
And the winner this is a third party. Like I would
Wouldn't
laugh.
that be funny? It won't happen,
I
but-
shouldn't laugh, but
And I don't want to be disrespectful,
Yeah.
but I was saying the other day, which don't hate me, y'all, but I was saying the other day after the first debate that was so horrible to watch when they were like so mean to each other and just rude people. I was like, I think we might be better off with a lottery system where, like, if you're an eligible age voter in the country, or not eligible to be president, like you're old enough to be president. What is it, 34?
6, something like that. Yeah.
There should be an upper limit too, y'all. Let's not lie. 34 to 65. I don't know what that is, but like if you can collect Social Security, it might be time not to run. But that age group, if we just had a lottery system, and then you randomly choose a person, we might have had better luck at coming up with like just a regular old guy who might listen to his advisors and such. Do you think? I mean, what are the chances of all the Americans out there if it was just kind of random? Maybe we would have come up with a different
So
choice.
Allison wants to announce that she's running for office.
No.
And she's
No,
gonna.
I don't want it. But what if it was a lottery system where you didn't have a choice and like, you know what I'm saying? Like may the odds be ever in your favor. Like you are president.
We've digressed to Hunger Games now. Yes.
You're gonna have like all these advisors at your disposal, but like you're gonna serve. You're gonna serve,
Yeah.
and maybe it's a year term because in
It's
case
like
you're
some
horrible.
countries, you have to serve 2 years in the military, right? You have to. Everybody has to go serve in
In
politics.
case you're horrible, it's gonna be a real quick turnaround. We're just gonna shuffle people in.
I think you're onto something there.
I don't know.
And we all get a taste of it, right? They're all like,
Just
never
saying, we
again.
might have had a better shot at this.
Amy's laughing, so somebody say something funny? No?
I'm laughing.
Let's laughing at us. Okay, good.
I don't really want to know what you think about that idea. I was just kidding. Don't.
I mean, so how do we, I'm glad we're a week from today, right?
Oh yeah, is it? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Tuesday.
And so a week from today, I know there's a lot of happens, which candidate gets elected, that we can progress forward in a healthy, safe, joyful manner. It won't be joyful, but
Yeah. Well,
in a way that is just respectful of the system and yeah, I feel like there's a lot of chatter out there right now that doesn't matter which side you're on. If the other side doesn't get, and we're going to throw a fit, and I'm like, this is the beauty of our democracy is that we have to, even if we don't agree with it, regardless of what happens, like that's the system.
Yeah.
And my point is, we can't, when we identify in that fully, instead of saying that, because what it feels like to some people is all hope is lost. And what I would tell you is it doesn't matter which candidate gets elected. There's always hope. And there's hope because you can make a difference. And you can change things about your life. And you can affect a neighbor in a personal relationship. And I'm just convinced that government is out there and it's the thing, but it's not the thing. It's not the main thing. The main thing is that we can make a difference in people's lives. And so because of that, I always say in every election, the world's not going to fall apart. We're not going to descend into anarchy because you have the ability and the chance to make a difference. Like you can, if you believe in a certain way and passionate about it, then go treat your neighbor like that, right? Go shovel somebody's driveway. It's snowing, so shoveling is in my head. Go shovel somebody's driveway. Go cut their grass. Go take them a casserole. You ever make casseroles,
yeah,
Allison?
I do.
I love cooking.
I mean, I think we also have a responsibility to be peacemakers, you know, and that's when the conversations start taking a turn for the worse, like after this is done on Tuesday or Wednesday or whenever it's done, it'll be later in the week probably.
Yeah.
But to look for ways to be a peacemaker. I mean, we don't always think that. We want to take part in the argument versus trying actively to smooth the waters. And I think that's an important role for us. But
Yep. And I'm just telling everybody now, like, our faith and hope is not in that. It can't be, because it's going to fail us. It will always. I mean, power structures and government systems are always going to fail part of the population, right? And that's not. I'm not condoning that. I'm saying we do. I agree. We have huge systemic issues we need to fix, and we need to change laws and all that. But all hope is not lost if your candidate doesn't get elected,
right.
because there is an election in 4 years. You know what I mean? Like, and there's and the bigger elections often we're way more affected by local politics than we are by federal politics. And so, who are your local authorities? Who are your local politicians? What are they doing in your community? Being involved in that. And honestly, so I'll play the other side of this too. We need to get younger, healthy people into politics. I've had my 3 Ps for a while. We need better pastors, priests, and preachers. We need better parents. We need better politicians. Like, that's
All the P's.
all the P's, because it starts at home with parenting, and then our faith communities are dwindling, especially right now, and that's a big component of our life that I think we're losing, and we're losing stories and experience and this connection to each other. And then I think our politicians are dividing us, and I think we need. So when I say you can make a difference, I don't just mean by individually how you treat your neighbor, but if you're passionate about this, then I would encourage you to go be involved. Get involved in local politics. A friend of mine, David Slater, who's the mayor of,
Oh gosh.
he used to work for Bank 21. He's the mayor up north. I forgot, it's a little.
Pleasant Valley.
Thank you, Pleasant Valley. Him and I talk all the time. He's like, I'm always trying to bring people into politics, right? He's been a politician for a long time. And so there's a lot of good local politics. There's a lot of good things you can be involved with in making systemic change via our laws and our tax dollars, because those are important. So I hope nobody hears anything other than that's important. It's just because you find yourself in a time frame where somebody's elected that you don't agree, it's not the end. And,
There's more to you than that.
and all hope is not lost. The hope resides within us. And again, this is to my faith that I'm a part of something else. Is government part of that? Yes, but systemically, I'm a part of something else that's greater, and I can participate in that regardless of who's in power.
Amy, you got anything else?
Chuck said he almost contacted the party that is unrepresented in his district.
Oh.
He did.
Well,
Love it,
Chuck,
Chuck.
you should do that. You should do that. You'd be a good one if the lottery draw happened to land on you. We'd be like, yeah, Chuck.
Chuck Kleinhagen, 2022. Oh no, Kleinhagen Marriott, 2024.
You crazy. Oh my. I wouldn't be the right one.
Allison, this would be Allison's symbol of how she's going to get things done. Like a symbol, not a motto. If it was a symbol, Allison would just do this.
Will
Marriott,
that
2020.
I don't think it would work. I don't think it would fly.
Oh my goodness.
I think it would be good if we could, like, intentionally in the next week, try to talk about other things.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's important and all that, and the issues themselves are important too, but, like, people already made up their mind, y'all. Anymore,
Right.
aren't we? Isn't it too late for that now?
Oh, I don't think anybody's.
Same with the ads. Like, yeah, we already done made up our mind. You can just take those ads off right now. Because people who are like avoiding Facebook, to me, the TV is worse. It's every commercial. Every commercial. And so I guess just watch Netflix for the next week. Like, don't get on regular TV.
I'm so removed because I haven't seen a single political
Yeah,
ad because I don't watch
the
TV.
political ads are
And I listen to
relentless.
podcasts and books, so I literally haven't heard a single one. It's the most amazing thing
They're
in the world.
relentless. They're back to back.
I have seen a
about
few
each other.
Facebook ones.
Have you?
Yeah, a few Facebook ones. Yeah. It was in my sermon notes. I don't think I got to it Sunday, but there's this one, or maybe I did, and it came up and it said Unite Missouri. I'm like, oh, this will be good. Click, and so now I get them all the time, right?
Oh no, you
It was
clicked
not
on
about
one.
uniting Missouri. It was all about against this whatever. Yeah, it's so manipulative. It was, yeah.
So now your feed's blowing up with it, whatever it is.
Oh yeah, because once you click on something, I go,
Yeah.
oh, you like this? No, I didn't like it. I want to unite.
curious.
I want to unite Missouri. No, that's not what it was about. It's all good. This person is evil, bad, and so I'm like, nope, that's not uniting. So I actually don't know the politics of it. I don't know any of it. I'm just like, I have no time for this.
This is not uniting.
I love one of my favorite phrases is by your favorite band, Casting Crowns, right? Nobody knows what we're for, only what we're against when we judge the wounded. Like I love, like we. I know it's not Creed and some of the other ones you love,
He
but
always has to bring up my bands that I can't stand. Why? I'm not
because it
trying
is
to
one of
be
my favorite
mean.
lyrics. It is one of my favorite lyrics.
I don't bring them up because I'm not trying to be mean. It's just not my favorite thing, and you always bring it up.
I know, because it makes you uncomfortable. I love it. And so, ooh, we're out of time probably. But, so you were saying, go talk about other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about encouraging things, or talk about ways, like you said, individuals can do things to make a difference. Like, talking about the candidates at this point is just a waste of time. It's
Yeah.
not going to encourage anybody. It's not going to help out anybody at this point.
But you can call up a friend and see how they're doing.
Yeah, you can be an encourager. You can be a peacemaker. You can be someone who brings a lighthearted feel to
Yeah.
the conversation, or whatever. I don't know.
There's a young person in our church who lost a parent
Aw.
recently. And I was talking to somebody about being a mentor to this person. And so we were having just great dialogue this morning, and I'm having this conversation. I'm like, this, right? Like
This
we
is
should-
important.
This, this is
this is
important. This
actually
is how we
important.
identify.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how you're gonna do that this week, but whatever that is, over the next week, and then we're definitely not talking politics next Tuesday. We're gonna talk about something else. So
Moving on.
don't forget to join us on Sunday, because this Sunday we're starting a new series called Reclaim the Table, where we're talking about why tables are so important. So join us. Go be good. Go be the good.
Have a good week.
Peace.